anthem for everyone who wants to be free. Oh, the voice inside your soul will lead you far beyond the fear. This is the anthem for everyone who wants to be free. Oh.
Welcome to the Captain Sandy and Leah Rae Show. Today, I am honored to have Malia White join us to share her experience, strength, and hope, and her journey about how she's got to the bridge, what she was doing before she got on a boat, what she did to stay on a boat, and what she does to continue in this career, because it's life-changing.
And definitely is life-changing. Hi, guys. Nice to see you.
I'm so excited to have you on.
Yeah, this is exciting. I love it.
So I just read you the part in my book. What did you think?
I'm honored to be in the book. I'm glad I'm the only below deck cast that made it. But yeah, I think it really rings true to my experience, and definitely the catalyst of when I knew. You're right. Like, it took that minute on the wing station, like actually driving and actually feeling the pressure and what it would be like to literally stand in your shoes to know that this is something I could do, that I wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but it was a night on the bridge. You were on anchor watch. It was actually the day, and I asked you, Bobby, and Wes, what did you want to do? Were you going to take this career somewhere? Wes obviously was on that trajectory. And then Bobby's like, yeah, you know, Bobby.
Yeah,
which he's doing really well in yacht sales. And then you're like, sorry, Cap, I just want to be a dive instructor and work on dive boats.
Yeah.
And what happened that night on Anchor Watch to make you shift and look up your courses? Like, what was it? Was there, what happened?
I think staying in the bridge, it's still true to this day. There's just something special about being in the bridge and feeling that responsibility. So I think that night, like sitting there and realizing, you know, everything that comes along with being either an officer and a captain while you're in the bridge and you're standing there at the helm, like whether you're on anchor watch or you're driving, it's just knowing that you have all these people looking to you, both guests and crew, and also, you know, it's a skill set. It's something that you can take with you. And yeah, I think that was the time in the bridge is what's definitely pushed me to get my tickets. And it's still my favorite time is being in the bridge, being at sea. I love it. I'm addicted.
I love it. I love watching the two of you together and how you have mentored Malia. And it's so, people are so weird sometimes. It's like on social media. I love your relationship with Sandy, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm personally proud of everything that you represent as a woman, and watching you and being a part of this. You know, I'm like kind of like the new girl in this whole thing, being Sandy's partner, and it's really cool to see how far you've come, and you keep going and going. How long does it take to become? How long before you can drive? Is it drive
Or be a captain?
Be a captain of a size vessel that she drives on the show.
So my next ticket will be the same one that Captain Sandy has.
Wow. How long does that take?
Yeah.
Years. Like, she's been at it for how many years now?
5. Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why is the experiences that you have. They want you to have that sea time, and but I have to share this story.
Yeah.
And this is when I saw that Malia could be a captain. Like, because being a captain is all about decision making and diffusing, problem solving 24/7.
Yeah.
That particular day, or the night before, or maybe it was the day, Malia had been kissed by both boys, Adam and Wes. And as I witnessed, actually, I think I was watching the TV show, and because I don't see everything that happens, I saw Malia walk for the dining area, and Wes and Adam were huddled talking about Malia. And she walks through and she goes, Wes, Adam, you both kissed me goodnight tonight. She goes, Wes, Adam, you both kissed me tonight. Good night. And proceeded downstairs, and it like diffused the whole thing. And I thought,
you're like, huh?
Great captain. Because it's all about diffusing and not getting...
And kissing boys?
Well, I don't know about the kissing boys.
Yeah. I bet the diffuse... No, I know what you meant. I'm just totally kidding.
Yeah, that's pretty
No,
awesome.
I think, I've obviously tried to hone those skills in different areas of the work.
That's awesome.
But going back to like Captain Sandy and I's relationship, I think from my first season on Below Deck, I tell people this all the time, but I just don't know how I would have felt if my first experience with a captain, if they had been a male captain, how that would have changed, because I don't know that I would have felt like, oh yeah, I can do this because I see someone just like me doing it. So to
Right.
have Captain Sadie there, and I see this woman like dominating the bridge and, being this amazing leader, I was like, well, if she can do it, that gives the hope for the rest of us, So it really is true.
For
Like
sure.
representation is everything.
Right.
Is it hard work?
It's hard.
Absolutely.
Hard work, a lot of focus. Where are you right now? I see
I'm in Malaysia.
I'm like, that is so beautiful. And you get to tour the world, right? Like, all the places that Sandy tells me, all the people, she knows so many people around the world. And she's like, oh yeah, when we go here, let's meet up with these friends. And when we go here, let's meet up with these friends. And you just make lifelong relationships in your industry. It's really a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah. I mean, like all over the place. Like right now, because I just got my upgrade and I got a promotion, I now have 2-2 rotation, which is just a whole new
Pretty awesome.
game
What does that
changer.
mean?
Yeah, I
Two
love
on,
it.
two off. She
Okay, the
she
people
got-
that don't understand this,
Yeah.
like myself, and
Yeah.
who are going to watch our podcast, what does that mean?
Tell them what it means.
Okay, so I just became second officer on my vessel, which is like a 240-foot boat. So it's pretty big. And then yeah. And then so now I work 2 months on and I have 2 months off.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. But you
And
get
she gets paid for all
you're,
4
You're still
months.
salaried.
Little
Yeah,
and
you're
mighty.
salaried.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You are
it's
little and
epic.
mighty. Yeah, that is amazing.
yeah. Malia,
Fun
for other
traveling.
yeah, in the travel. So for the other girls, women that are out there, like tell them what it's like to embark on a career like this. What are the benefits, and how do you see it for our the younger generation of the Malias?
Yeah, I get this a lot. I mean, and you can probably talk back to like your experience in it, but I think when I was first starting out, you knew me. I was young. I was like a little firecracker. I was like,
You're still
I had
young.
everything to prove. Yeah, but I was much younger and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I thought I just had to prove myself and like whatever. And I had to work twice as hard. And that is true to some aspect. But at the same time, this career really suits people, no matter what your gender. It suits people who get it. Like they can put their head in it. You can put your head in the books. You can find the skill set that you're really good at and use that, like I tell a lot of the girls going into it, it's not girls versus guys on deck. It's really learning how to use everyone's skill set and become a team and lead a team, which is why I think I've been able to succeed in my role, is because it's just making it a better atmosphere for everyone, whether it's for gender differences on deck or like age differences or whatever, just making it a team.
Yeah, I love that. And I think if the corporate world would follow that, they would have a better experience, in their professions. Because I think the benefit of the maritime industry is that we live and work together. So we have to learn how to get along with each other. And I love how you said you all have the same common goal, and utilizing everyone on deck for the betterment of what you're doing and as a team. Because without a team, there's no I in team. And you know that. How do you, keep them infused with the energy when they're so tired and all they want to do is go to sleep and they're emotional and they miss home? And how do you continue to keep that spirit going, which is such a finesse? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, for my team, I try to, like a lot of the times I'll sacrifice my own sleep to give them more sleep, or I'll give them extra breaks throughout the day that I know that maybe productivity wise, I'm like, you know what, this person needs to go spend a half an hour speaking to their family. The rest of us can grind and give that person that leniency. It's where I feel like the old mindset on deck was like, everyone has to be like hating their life. There was such this like everyone has to be grinding. No one can be like no fun. You got to keep it fun on deck. Like it's a grueling, like physically exhausting and mentally exhausting job. So finding ways to like keep it fun, to keep the banter up. Like I really promote banter as long as it's fun. No one's getting hurt. Like my team, there's lots of banter. We play pranks on each other, which comes back from season 1. Like just keeping the days fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And keeping it a safe space that people can talk about anything. And a lot of the guys that come on my team, I'll see they come from these other boats and they think like, oh yeah, the more macho I am, the better I'm going to be. And I quickly break that stereotype. And I'm like, you don't have to be macho here. You can just be whoever you are. And that's, that's how it goes. And making guys feel safe too. Like they don't have to be macho. They don't have to be these like tough, big guys all the time. They can be normal. And that's how we get on.
Yeah. And that's incredible. And that's a finesse that a leader has. Leah, I've witnessed Leah in her leadership role, and she's actually the same on land, like, because we're at sea. But the way you handle your people, you are just so kind, and kindness goes a long way, and thoughtfulness. And those are all the things that you just incorporated in what you just shared. And the old mindset of on deck is everybody has to do the grind at the same time. That's not true because it's not effective. And I think good leaders look for effectiveness and how to carry out, hey, we're here to do this. How do I bring this team together and make the client feel like we're happy to be here and the energy is behind it? And that's because you pay attention just like you do in your workplace.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, Leah, you're the I got to do a facial with Leah and you are phenomenal.
Yeah. What I've watched what happened. You okay?
Yeah, it was out of the right share. I started shrinking.
And it was like going down. What I witnessed about you, Malia, too, and watching the shows with Sandy and stuff is your reaction. I've learned a lot, like in leadership, it's all how we respond, right? And how we react to people. And I love to watch you. You're like slow to kind of respond, and you just kind of take in what they're saying. And sometimes you take a lot of what people are saying, and instead of exploding back or lashing back or whatever, reacting over the years from the show when you first started to now, you really don't, you react. It's more, because you're older now, but it's all how you respond, right, to people in the industry in any kind of leadership role. And so it's been nice
that's definitely a skill I've had to practice. Like,
it's hard.
Yeah. That's when I was younger, I was very reactive. And then that's something I realized, as I started becoming a leader, I have to choose my words a bit carefully and take a minute to digest and understand their point of view, like why they might be upset. And then also, like, if I get upset with someone on my deck crew, I just take a minute and I'm like, okay, do I really need to call them out on this little thing, or should I just take a step, let that one go, figure out the bigger problem that's going on? And that's helped a lot.
Yeah, that's
I
amazing.
always get people always still talk about like, oh, Captain Sandy, you must be so upset with Captain Sandy. You guys fought on that episode. And I'm like, no, that is a normal, we are living, breathing, working in this confined space all the time. Captain Sandy has the pressure of the entire yacht, the guests, the whole crew on her shoulders. And I'm her right-hand man or woman. Like, of course, there's going to be times where we don't, I see this especially now, like a captain can't really lose their shit in front of junior crew. Like my captains, they'll lose it in the bridge with us and get it all out because they need someone too. It's lonely at the time. They need someone to like get their frustrations stuff out too. And I'm like, I hold nothing against Captain Sandy. That's normal. And,
Yeah. And you're always the first, like even with us, if we get into it, because no relationship is perfect at all. I mean,
no.
And we've had our ups and downs, and she's the first to diffuse or apologize or say sorry. Or that's what I love about her so much is she's, some, people get upset and say things you don't mean and you take it back, but she's the first to admit like, oh my gosh, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I love you. And same with me, because I have a hard time saying sorry sometimes. I'm very stubborn when it comes to, because I'm usually right most of the time.
Yeah, I don't mind. But the reason for me, that experience that people refer to is because the trust was broken and I trusted you. And the thing is like when you care, right? And you rely on someone and they're trying to protect your team by doing what happened. It's like, it was a huge letdown for me. And I had an emotional experience because I was so invested. And I was like, she chose her deck crew over her captain. Always tell the truth, because when you have that reliability on the one, that person has to be your solid. You know what I mean? And that was why.
Yeah. What happened with that, by the way? Because
She covered for her deck team, and I found out, and I got mad.
really, because I didn't see it that way.
I did.
Yeah,
No,
it happened. It happened at a no. I'm talking about when you the night out when he injured himself. And
yeah,
you thought
when
I
he
was
fell out of
hiding
the
it
spa.
from you.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, and you thought I was like covering it. And then when I did find out, it happened on a day off. Like he didn't report it to me. He didn't
Dave.
Yeah,
I liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hard fall.
So I think what happened is like it was like a miscommunication that led to, it looked like I was hiding information from Captain Sandy when I wasn't, but that's how it came across, you know?
Yeah, because
so
you don't
I
know the
understood
backstory,
why she was
right?
upset.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Well,
she doesn't get to see that. So
exactly.
in all fairness,
She doesn't see it.
Yeah, and it looks like I was hiding it from her.
Yeah.
And so I said that to people. I was like, in all fairness, if I had been hiding that information from her, I'd be just as pissed.
Yeah.
But I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't see that.
Yeah.
So, but you guys love each other. And
yes, of course. Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
The great thing is like, I don't care who you are, you're going to lose your temper. Someone's going to get it, right? I remember once I was on the phone and I came out of my cabin and my first officer was there and I bit his head off. And he just looked at me with this horrific face. And I thought, I just hurt his soul. Like, he's like, why? And I just remember thinking, here's the difference, is saying, oh my God, what I just did was wrong. Even at the top, you make decisions that are hurtful. And as long as you can say an apology and that you're sincere about it, it's normal. And it shows people it's okay to be human. So even for the people that are juniors on the boat, it's okay to get upset. You will be forgiven. We will move on. Because to think that there are no emotions attached when you live and work together is not normal. The normal part is we're going to get emotional, we're going to get tired, we're going to get upset, we're going to yell at each other. But as long as we come back together and say, I'm sorry, and we keep that respect in the workplace, we will conquer and we will win and we will make a lot of money.
So how is it different with you guys have cameras on you the whole time, so it's not a normal, everyday situation. So you have the pressure of the cameras, right, and the schedule, and then plus the charters and plus the schedule, of all of that. That's really, really, that's not normal, right? In the everyday charter world.
Like going back to like the spy and cameras and everything, it was so funny because that morning I knew, because I know Captain Sandy by now.
Right.
I know what makes her tick.
We know that look.
I can see when she's
Dirty
upset.
floors.
Like Leah, I know when you
Dirty floors.
I know when you guys are maybe not having a good time. I know she's in a mood, and I'm like,
walk away.
She came down the stairs, and she's walking down, and I was like, I'm about to get it. Like I just knew. But then it's exactly right. Like there's cameras, the whole thing gets heightened because the cameras are there, and you're like, your emotions are going, and you don't really have time to process them. Plus, the whole time you're also worried, probably coming off on camera. So all of that comes to a head. But you're so right about Captain Sandy, because it just takes her a couple of minutes and she's like, and whether it was I was wrong or she was wrong, the best thing about Captain Sandy is she's like, let's talk about it.
Yes.
I'm here to apologize, even if I'm in the wrong. And it's like, he makes it such a, I just remember we both came to the bridge and we are both still upset and we are both like, okay, talked about it. And then we hugged it out. And I was like, yeah. I just knew I was going to get it that morning.
So, I learned this, and I have to attribute to everything through sobriety for me and working the 12 steps. And it is about, we do this 9th step. It's like make amends, except when to do so, would injure them or others. And that's really true. So to promptly admit when you're wrong is really freedom. And to be able to say, I'm sorry, and be forgiven, that's freedom. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think the world needs more of that, to say,
Can
I'm
benefit.
sorry. Yes. And to just let it go and not, I always say, Leah taught me the meaning of the word grace, and I taught her the meaning of the word do-over. Can I have a do-over? And the grace is where if you say I'm sorry and the behavior comes up again, you still give the grace, because the learning is through the experiences of making the mistake. We don't learn if we don't make mistakes. What are we going to learn from
Yeah.
if we're doing everything right? And we would be God. You know what I mean?
And if the relationship is worth the saving, to be honest with you, I mean, that's
Yeah.
how I feel. If I really love you, you really love me. Malia is just, and you guys have this awesome relationship, and she's of value to you and you to her. So to me, there are some people that I just am like, oh, okay, I'm good. Like,
That's bless the
Yeah.
God bless you. Peace
Yeah.
out, but it's the people that are worth working it out,
Yeah. And I think that's a lesson I've definitely learned from Captain Sandy is to be, I think in a leadership role, especially like a captain or a boatswain or now an officer, it's extremely important to admit when you're wrong, because it shows the rest of your crew like the value of truth and honesty and honor. Like just being able to say, like, I expect you guys to tell me when you're wrong, so I need to do the same. And I'm not flawless, I'm not perfect, so like I need to be able to say, hey, I was wrong in this situation, you were right. And that doesn't make me any less of a leader, it makes me a better example. And that's
right. And then
that's
people
an
will follow
atmosphere
you.
that's been missing in yachts, I think.
Yeah. There's too many egos on the bridge. And then Colin Powell has a great speech, and he talks about because of that behavior, they will follow you even out of curiosity, because it's curious. It's like, oh my gosh, they said they were wrong. They said they were sorry. Like, wow, that's incredible. And yes, there needs to be more of that in the maritime industry. I have to share this with you, Malia, because I just got some great news today. So because of the TV show, and we've reached millions of Americans and beyond that in middle America, to show people that there are jobs in the maritime industry, which is awesome, because we're short today 50,000 crew members on boats. Our industry went up 900% since COVID. Like, it's just growing and growing and growing. Now I thought, I just want to get a program into high schools, starting in Florida, but across the country, to teach kids about maritime industry as an alternative to college for parents out there that can't afford college. So I went to Tallahassee. I have a lobbyist, the Legis Group, and a great team, and Kevin Merrigan from Northrop and Johnson, the chairman. He came out with me, and we walked the Capitol and talked to all the politicians. And just today we got our bill passed for the House. We got full approval. It just has to go through one more process. So I'm so proud of that, and everybody that surrounded us, because we're going to change lives, and we're going to start with one school at a time, and we're going to get this in the whole state of Florida, where the kids in high school can go, oh my gosh, I can work in the maritime industry. And then we're going to do it in middle schools. So it's going to be middle schools and high schools. Isn't that incredible?
I'm so proud of you.
I think this is incredible.
Amazing.
That's amazing. And you should be super proud. This is one thing, like I went to college, and had I known about the maritime industry, I would have done, a maritime college right off the bat. And I think this is one thing in the States that in school, we don't teach people that trades are okay. Like, even though people who work in trade jobs, they make great money and they have a skill set that, they can carry through different parts of their life. Yet in school, we still teach everyone this one track thing. Like, you have to go to college, you have to get a normal, like, bachelor's degree, when there's so many other amazing jobs that offer a different lifestyle than working in an office all the time. Like,
yeah, so
I persist on so many people. I'm like, go to school, go to
Yeah.
maritime.
I
Because
don't
there's so
personally
many
know
different
how you
jobs.
did that. So you graduated college, and then when did you get into the maritime industry?
So
Like what?
literally below deck shooting by lights.
Okay, that's what I was
how-
wondering. And then, so how did you hear about below deck?
So I was backpacking Asia, and I came home, one of my best friends and I, and we were day drinking, and we were like, what do we
There you
want
go.
to do with our life now? Because we just came back backpacking, and we were pretty broke. I was like, do I want to go back to Colorado? Do I want to go back to Hawaii? And we applied for TV shows like The Amazing Race. We're like, how cool would it be if we did like The Amazing Race? I'd never heard of Below Deck. And then I got a call from a woman who was like, hey, I saw you apply for these, but what about I put you forward for this show called Below Deck? And that's how it all
And that's
happened.
that. Wow. So do you have to go to school to become?
Yeah, so when I got accepted for Below Deck, they were like, do you want to come film this TV show on a yacht? And at that time, because I didn't get accepted my first season, so they put me through for the next season. So it'd been like a year later or whatever. And I was living in Colorado, working in a cubicle, needed it. And they were like, do you want to come film this TV show on a yacht? And I was like, a what? And yeah, they sent me off to my STCW in Florida, and then I went and filmed in Croatia. And right after that, I went and got my 100 ton, and that was that. I was like, I'm not going back to a desk.
To work on a boat, you did 1 week in class, right? STCW, which is $1,000. And then you did your physical and your drug test, and you got your job.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's
And then
amazing.
like what I tell people just getting into it is like, you uproot your life for a little bit. It's scary, but you can stay in crew accommodation, which is pretty cheap. You just network with people, stay in a crew house, network, try to meet everyone, dress professionally. I think that's a big one, because on the show, they see us walk up to the boat in like shorts and dresses and things. They're like, no. If you're applying for a position on deck, get a pair of like deck shorts, a polo, walk around the docks, show that you can work with the 1%. We're not here to be backpackers. We're here to,
That's an incredible, because I keep sharing that with people. How did my kids get in this industry? Now, granted, they're watching Below Deck, so they don't know about the other jobs, right? So we have trades, right? So we need electricians, plumbers, carpenters, technicians. We're desperate, because
helicopter pilots, masseuses, beauticians,
yes.
Doctors. My boat personally, I've had a helicopter pilot, a doctor. We employ a full-time beautician / masseuse, housekeeping. There's so many different skills in ETO. Anyone, especially now with boats getting more and more tech savvy, we, someone that knows the full-time ETO. We have a full-time ETO. They don't even do our engineering,
Yeah, because it's technical. There's a lot of technical. And then on the land-based side, where people who don't want to go to sea, there are shipyards, there are brokerages, there are sales positions.
A purser.
Yeah, purser, right. Pursers purchase, right? So they manage the budgets of boats. And it's pretty cool in yacht management. There's so many aspects of this industry. The state of Florida did $93 billion in recreational boating in 1 year. Like the amount of money isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, I talk to people who have these kids and they're like, well, my kid doesn't know what they want to do. And I'm like, put them on a boat for a couple of years. And even if they don't turn out to be a career yachty, they can still save up a ton of money, because you don't have a ton of expenses. You're not paying for housing. You're not paying for toiletries. If you're wise about it and you don't blow your charter tips on stupid things, then you can save up a lot of money.
And you travel, right? You travel, you learn different cultures, different languages. You're immersed in so many. You know what? I do a lot of public speaking, and I always talk about how when you travel, it's not the country's job to make you feel accepted and safe. It's your job to go in and learn how to fit into that country, understanding the basics of their language, understanding just a few things on how to ask for stuff, just learn those few words to say, how to order food and things like that, because it really makes a difference. And the yachting industry allows that. And then you're around all these different cultures. It's so funny because they have different words for different, like one time I said, I'm rooting for you to an Australian, and he goes, you're what? And that meaning in America is very different than in Australia. Rooting for you, like what? Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
I'm rooting for you, babe.
There's like, let's grab the esky. I remember when Wes said that to me and Bobby, and we were both like, the what?
Esky?
And he's like, the esky. And I'm like, the jet ski? Like, we were so confused.
What?
But it's a cooler.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Do you miss
I think-
being on the show, or?
No, I mean, I had some other things in the works, but I I mean, I do just feel like it is fun. Like you get to know all the audio people and stuff. So you miss that aspect of it. And get to know production. And the show is fun to film, isn't it? It's to me, it's 6 weeks and it's going to be absolute, back to back, and you just have to put your head down and do it. So it's a lot of fun. I miss that aspect, but I also love my job that I have now. So
yeah, your job has, like that's what I love about this industry. Even away from TV, you still have a career, right? This is really incredible. And that you're advancing in your career. And when you become captain and you're running that 240 footer, it's a whole different level of excitement.
Yeah.
Malia. It is a game changer. And, looking back at my career, and I always say small boats, because small boats, that's the decision making that is critical that you need to learn. It's not about all the other stuff, the navigation, managing, that's all great. It's knowing when to say no and taking that brunt of that captain's a chicken. She's a chick. She doesn't want to leave the dock because she's a woman, and all of that crap that you get because you're a female at the helm when you're really making a decision to keep everybody safe. But it comes across as a weakness. And that's when you got to stand in your truth and go, well, even though you think that way, I'm still staying, so, and that's the hard one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just thrilled. I know, taking a lot of your time. I'm so happy. I can't wait to do your podcast. I'm glad you're in my book. I have such pride for you. I just saw that Joelle's taking command of a vessel. I don't know if you saw that. And you're next. I see that.
I will be.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you.
Love you guys. Thanks for having
love
me.
you.
Be safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you in Colorado or Florida or something soon.
I'm sure you'll see me soon.
Yeah.
Working for the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show.
When is it?
October. Last weekend in October.
I think I'm off actually in October, November.
Oh, yay.
So,
Okay,
if
awesome.
I can swing it, I will.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
All
Thank
right.
you again.
Love you guys. See you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, do your thing.
Thanks, everyone, for joining the Captain Sandy and Leah Rae show. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, click on the link above or below. And thank you for your support for our podcast. Bye.
Nothing's gonna